If you don't decide to say yes to your life, it will never work for you. The time for just wishing is past. Time for doing, that's the time right now.
Every man in himself is aristocratic, that he is his own king. He takes a sojourn into the material world, has to climb up all the different rungs on the ladder, and ultimately has to return to himself. The significance of the extraction from the sword from the stone is the stone is the material world. The material world, which seems all solid because it controls you whilst you're projecting your sense of identity upon it. The extraction of the stone is taking back your own authority, your own power. You're no longer looking for a sense of self outside of yourself. And then you have to face the demons that you've created in your history by facing them and fighting them and owning them. You put them in the face of who you are, and that's a wrestling match. You'd have to take away all these crutches, and that's all that we struggle from in life, is taking away our crutches. You've got to take away all these crutches and stand as the man that you are, and you're liberated from your whole thing.
What is the vision? Because the only reason I'm here, the only reason we're here today is because of our yesterday. Everything I've been through has defined who I am right now. So what's the goal? What's the vision? So no matter what you say to me, no matter what you say I cannot do, no matter what you say I will not do, I must do. I have to do. I am king. I live as king. I walk as king.
Every man in himself is aristocratic, that he is his own king. If you don't own something, you're not the boss. You have to take full responsibility for everything that you do. Why be subservient? You must be the master of your own kingdom. You've got to own that you can't just walk into things with your eyes half open. You've got to walk into things with your eyes fully open. You've got to know what you're getting into. You have to take possession of your life. That there's a world out there trying to tell you who you are, and there's a world in here that's trying to tell you who you are. Now, where do you want to put your eggs? Because the world outside is very noisy and very tempting, and it has all the razzmatazz, it has all the tinsel and all the glitter. It's got all the toys. But that's because you don't think you're enough in the first place. So the world will try and tell you who you are, and you have to tell yourself who you are. And there's this ongoing battle, and somehow there needs to be a reconciliation between the two. But in the end, you've got to have all the eggs in your basket. The external world is I'm asking you to tell me who I am. That's what we're all playing at. And as soon as you start to play that game, we run into all sorts of trouble. Call it the ego, call it whatever you want to call it. But that's the dynamic that we're in. And somehow we have to give ourselves enough confidence to reassure ourselves that we are enough.
Every day of my life, I'm trying to find a different way to get better. That's where we at. And this is our new day. Our new day is to stand up and take back and reclaim who we are. We were kings from day one, and we will die as king and queens. How much time will you really waste? If I looked at my clock, if you looked at your phone, time never stops for no one. So one thing God don't give us. It's your time. It's your time. Now the question is, what would you do to make sure it's your time? When your time is ready, will you be ready? That's what I do, man. That's all I do. Don't look for those, nothing spectacular to come out the sky. We are the sky. What we looking to change, we must change. And the only way to change it is make sure you ain't doing the same thing every day of your life. If an alarm clock is waking you up every morning, we might find ourselves confused in 10 years.
Every man in himself is aristocratic, that he is his own king.
I always try to figure out what's the difference between good and great. Good is fitting in. Great is fitting out. It's time to figure out whatever majority is doing, I'm gonna find myself doing the opposite. But man, you guys got an opportunity to do something right now. And when you wake up in the mornings, don't let your alarm clock be the only thing that wakes you up.
How do you step into bravery? Step. Take the step. Step aggressively towards your fear. And that step towards your fear is the step into bravery. We're scared of what we don't know. And there is only one way to learn and to know, and that is to confront that fear. You have to step.
Small things that makes greatness. So when somebody finally sees you, they represent you as a king because you walk as a king. And until you set your mindset to think like a king, then you stay where everybody else is at. And that's the place I didn't want to stay. I wanted to go way beyond that. And that's what I'm still chasing to this day. Ain't because I got nothing special. The only thing I got special is I made my mind up to be special. Greatness is a lot of small things done well, stacked on top of each other.
I was born in Memphis, Tennessee. I had a long haul from where I came from to here, but here we are. Courage is the key to life itself. There are a lot of people who are born in situations where they say, well, I'll never get out of this. So they won't.
When you're finally ready to go home, make sure your footsteps are remembered.
I say to people who say, well, I would like to have done so and so and so. So, well, you could have done it. So, well, I couldn't get out of here. Man, the bus runs every day. If you can think of it, you can do it. That's the human condition. If we can imagine it, we can do it.
Don't ever let a day go by that you waste, because that's a day you can never get back. These are the moments we're talking about.
The awful truth is that life is easy. Living, truly living, chasing a dream and truly living is hard. Living is a bitch. Living is tough, especially when you switch it and you ask yourself, what am I dying to do? What is it that puts that fire in my heart? Answering that question isn't the end, though. That's really just the spark. Because once you get that fire burning, you need to feed it. You need to keep reminding yourself, putting new coals in there, and reminding yourself every day about that goal. Because we've all taken up a hobby or a goal or a workout that we stop for just a couple days and then we never pick it up again. You need to constantly remind yourself that you're dying and that you're dying to do something. Because the minute you forget, life creeps right back in. And life is easy. We're all dying. But if you're not chasing your dream, you're already dead.
Unlike a team where no one takes ownership of the problems and therefore the problems never get solved, with us, everyone took ownership of their mistakes. Everyone took ownership of the problems. And when a team takes ownership of its problems, the problems get solved. And that is true on the battlefield, it is true in business, and it is true in life. So I say, take ownership. Take extreme ownership. Don't make excuses. Don't blame any other person or any other thing. Get control of your ego. Don't hide your delicate pride from the truth. Take ownership of everything in your world, the good and the bad. Take ownership of your mistakes, take ownership of your shortfalls, take ownership of your problems, and then take ownership of the solutions that will get those problems solved. Take ownership of your mission. Take ownership of your job, of your team, of your future, and take ownership of your life. And lead. Lead. Lead yourself and your team and the people in your life. Lead them all to victory.
Every man in himself is aristocratic, that he is his own king.
When you see someone failing and you look at how they manage their time, you'll see right there what's going on. They're not focused on what matters.
What else are you going to do? You know, shit happens. And so you have to get back to work and you have to go after it and you have to make the best of it. There's always going to be setbacks. There's always going to be things that go wrong. There's always going to be things you don't anticipate. Even when you have every I dotted, every T crossed, something's going to go wrong. And when it does, you just have to fight through it and grind through it and remember what it is that makes you special, what it is that gives you confidence to do what you do and do more of it. Nothing is just going to be given to you and that you're going to have to work for it. You know, at the end of the day, success really is about waking up with a smile on your face, knowing you're going to have a fun day, right? You're really looking forward to what you're doing. I just have one overriding principle. Do I like it? Am I having fun? Coming up, it's just, you've got to find the things that you like. Because to me, the key to success is finding something you love to do and then trying to be great at it. And you don't have to know what that is. I never got, upset. It was just like, this is it, right? I just got to go. I just got to do. And I just got to keep on grinding. And that's always worked out for me. So even when things were the toughest, my attitude has just been enjoy your life, smile, fight your way through it, and remember what you're good at. And I was good at tech, I was good at selling, I was good at working longer hours than everybody else, but I was even better at enjoying what I was doing. And so I just kept on reminding myself to enjoy. You can be wrong, you could pick the wrong career, you can pick the wrong job, you can pick the wrong spouse, you can pick the wrong whatever. But you get it right one time, you're set. But if you don't try, and if you don't go out there and try all those different things, you'll never get that one time. Try them all. Try them all until you find the one you like. And then it's like, it gets really easy. Because even when shit fucks up, you're on a mission. You're loving what you do. But it was like, what else are you going to do? Shit happens. And so you have to get back to work and you have to go after it and you have to make the best of it. There's always going to be setbacks. There's always going to be things that go wrong. There's always going to be things you don't anticipate.
If you're passionate and you're successful, you'll wake up one day rich. You won't really be going for the cash, it'll just happen to you. Everybody I talk to that's had success doesn't remember the day they became a millionaire. No idea. Not important to them. They remember winning. They remember building a business and being successful. Again, the pursuit of freedom manifests itself in passion. That's really what it's about.
Something's going to go wrong. And when it does, you just have to fight through it and grind through it and remember what it is that makes you special, what it is that gives you confidence to do what you do and do more of it.
Repeat after me, there's always a way.
There's always a way.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Your job is to go to war every day and win. You have to decide. It's a path.
The guy or girl that they're working out hates their workout, hates it, because the discipline is coming from somewhere else. It's something that you dread every time you go in. You don't really want to do it. The thing about self-discipline is that it is necessary for everything you do in your life. You have to be self-disciplined. If discipline comes from somewhere else, it's very, very hard to remain consistent because you tend to resist.
I was working once at an ice cream parlor when I was about 15 years old, my first real job. And on the second day, I was asked to scrape the gum off between the Mexican tiles on the floor. And I said to the woman who owned the store, it was called Magoo's Ice Cream Parlor, "You didn't hire me to scrape gum, you hired me to scoop ice cream." And this girl in the shoe store across the way that's looking at me, I don't want to see her scraping the gum. And she said, "What are you talking about? I own this store. I'll do anything I want with you. Get down on your knees and scrape that gum." And I said, "I'm not doing it." She said, "You're fired." Last job I ever had. I owe that woman everything. I don't like to work for people. There's nothing wrong with it, but if you want to control your own destiny, you work for yourself. That's how it works. I'm trying to inspire those of you who are on the tipping point. Take the chance, you're young. Go for it. There's nothing better than being able to wake up in the morning 10 years or 20 years from now and do whatever you like. It's about freedom. That's what matters. I'm not saying being an employee is bad, but believe me, being an entrepreneur is better.
All of us got stories to tell. Chicken Man allowed his tragedy to destroy his life. All of us have experienced some tragedy, and if we haven't, we will. And you can either let it destroy your life or you can build upon it. You can permit it to let it hold you down, or you can decide, I'm not going to let that happen to me. I'm bigger than this. Make a declaration to yourself. Declare all out war that you're going to get out of this rut. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how much you work on yourself. There are some times when things aren't going to go right. They just are not going to go right. There are times when anything that can happen will happen. Murphy's Law will be knocking at your door. Why? I don't know why. That's called life. I suggest to you that if you are facing a challenge, don't stop. Stay busy. Work your plan. Continue to do those things that you know that work for you after you have evaluated yourself in the situation. Declaration that this is what you stand for. You're standing up for your dreams. You're standing up for peace of mind. You're standing up for health. You want it, and you're going to go all out to have it. It's not going to be easy.
My history, I've been sort of on all sides of my journey. You know, I didn't have success very early, and I went through some very dark times. And you know what I mean? One thing I kept doing is, you know, inspiring myself, looking for inspiration and growing, and it hasn't stopped, and I want to keep doing that. And I also want to inspire others. You know, there are millions of me sitting at home right now, and they don't know it, and it's just good to be able to get this sort of platform to sort of say, come on man, go for it. So listen man, no speed.
Yes, I don't do things for money, and I've been broke most of my life. So because of that, I can't sort of suddenly go, I need to do a job just to get some cash, you know what I mean? I know that's a lot of times it is people's motivations because people need to eat, but in my position, I've been poor most of my life, so now I think my imagination has always kept me going, you know what I mean? You know, just imagine myself collecting awards, just imagine myself, you know what I mean, getting big parts, imagine myself working with the greatest actors. My imagination was the one, like, you know what I mean, like, you know, when you not overthink it, but you just kind of like, yeah man, I see myself driving that car one day, and I get that. Actually, if I can see myself doing it, I could probably do it. So you can't bottle that up and sell it to someone. You either can do it or you can't, but everybody can imagine themselves, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's important not to give yourself boundaries, which we can do quite easily, okay? People talk about aiming for the skies. Sometimes even aiming for the skies is intimidating. Just don't give yourself boundaries. Your sky and my sky might be different, you know what I mean? But neither of us will touch the sky if we give ourselves boundaries, you know what I mean? Whatever your sky is, whatever your biggest dream is, I might have already touched that, you know? So in other words, what sky? Where does the sky end? I'd rather people go, you know what, I'm not going to restrict myself to going, I can only do this, or I can only do that, or I have to do it this way, or I have to do it that way.
The first step before anybody else in the world believes it is you have to believe it. There's no reason to have a plan B because it distracts from plan A.
When I was 16, contemplating being an actor, I was in sound systems, DJing. You know what I mean? And you know, it was like that or this. So I always go back to DJing. I always have a studio, I always have turntables, always.
Been doing it a long time, you know what I mean? And there was a drive to be famous, to be, you know, that pinnacle, to be that guy. And my ambition isn't that as much, you know what I mean? Good work, keep working. So it'd be hard for me to sort of like suddenly be like, you know, oh, I'm lifted up by this wonderful life that I have. I love it, but you know, my feet are on the ground, you know, it's work, it's a job. Achievement is inspirational to me, you know, people doing it. Someone that on Monday didn't know how to do this and by Friday can do it. That is an inspiration to me. I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to fall over, make a mistake. That oftentimes cripples people on the onset of getting into anything. The first time I ever picked up the DJ decks was horrible now, but I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of that feeling. It actually propels me and works quite the opposite. But I really loved to do it. So I just said, I want to do what I love, you know what I mean? Like I can do 18, 22 hours a day easily. It's definitely one of those components to me as a human being, my makeup, my genetics, that allows me to actually keep moving. I'm a veteran at being able to look at an opportunity and go, is that going to take me further or not? You know, some people don't have that. You won't. It's something you develop. You know, that's why most times out of 10, any head of a company has been doing it for a long time, because they inherently can make a decision in the blink of an eye. But you have to learn that. The other thing that's important, I think, is to keep your head down. You know, keep your head down. Like when I swim, I've got 25 laps, guaranteed if I look up and start counting those laps, I'm petered out by 15. If I put my head down and keep working away and work at technique, work at internal rhythm, work at, I hit that length, I don't even know what length I'm on, guarantee you I'll look up and it'll be 20 and 2 more, 3 more to go. And that's a very simple device, but I think people find themselves incrementally checking how far they've got. And that, you know, when you compare it to anybody else or whatever, it's just it's a recipe for disaster. Just keep banging on, you know? Mountain climbers would probably tell you the same thing, you know, there's no point looking. The difference between climbing 100 feet and climbing 500 feet is a point of view. You won't know you're at the top until you get there, pal. And that's what you need to remember. You know, just get in there. Just don't look down. The more I grow, you know, I'm 43 at this point, you know, considered a middle-aged man, and happiness is without a doubt the best thing that I strive for. Health and happiness, kid you not. I couldn't, any of it means nothing if I'm not happy about it. My breakthrough was actually deciding I wanted to be an actor and go into a drama college. Not a drama college, I did a performing arts course. It changed my life. It turned my dreams into a reality. It gave me an actual, tangible target to go, oh, actually, I could do this. That was my breakthrough, because it was a breakthrough of my mind. That was my biggest breakthrough. Of course, there have been numerous breakthroughs over my career and my life, which I'm all proud of, but none so much as that realization that I want to be an actor. To thrive in whatever you do, please understand your terrain. Know what your target is. Don't guess it. Be as clued up as the next man, because that's your petrol. That's your fuel to get you moving. If you don't know where you're going, what your targets are, you're never going to get there. Period. Work hard, sleep less.
Seize the day. Winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. Do not wait for your ship to come in, swim out to it. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If you can dream it, you can do it. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. If man has done his best, what else is there? Success is going from failure to fair without losing your enthusiasm. If first you don't succeed, try again. Genius is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. There's no substitute for hard work. Willing is not enough. We must do. Live the life you imagine. Do or do not. There is no try. Action is the foundational key to all success. Discouragement and failure are the two of the surest stepping stones to success. The cure is not to dream less, but to dream more, to dream all the time. If you don't know where you're going, you will wind up somewhere else. Just do it. I heard those quotes growing up all the time. When I first heard some, I memorized them. Others I wrote down. But not one of them motivated me for more than a day or two. It was a much less inspirational quote that inspired me, from a much less famous person. It was a doctor at UCLA. He said, "Steve, you've got inoperable tumors all over your liver. Worst case scenario, you have 5 years to live.
And I can't control the cards I'm dealt, just how I play the hands."
If you need inspiring words, don't do it.
Today's talk is not about death. It's about life and how to live, specifically about childhood dreams and about how you can try to achieve them. Dreams will come to you. If you live properly, the dreams will come to you. And I was dreaming, always dreaming. It was an easy time to dream. When you turn on your television set and men are landing on the moon, anything is possible. And we should never lose that spirit.
Okay, bad news. I had cancer. I was dying. But I got more bad news. You are all dying too. And what are you dying to do? Don't skate forward any further in your life without answering that question. But I've basically just given you all the same diagnosis I was given. Your time is limited. And that's a real diagnosis, so what now? Okay, like most people when they're told they're dying, you're probably going through the 5 stages of grief. The first stage is denial. I'm not dying, I'm healthy. Stage 2 is anger. Urgh. Stage 3 is bargaining. Okay, we're all dying. Stage 4 is depression. Stage 5, the final stage, is acceptance. Okay, I'm not immortal. So what now? Well, let me tell you what I did when I was told I might only have 5 years to live. First of all, I got a lot of advice. A lot of friends wanted to help. A friend of my wife told me that maybe this news would give me a whole new perspective. Someone else told me that I should live every day like it was my last.
So what were my childhood dreams? Being in the National Football League. This is one of the childhood dreams I didn't achieve. All right? And it's very important to know that if you don't achieve your dreams, you can still get a lot by trying for it. There's an expression I love, experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. The most wonderful thing my parents did was they let me paint my bedroom. I said one day, I want to paint stuff on the walls. And they said, okay. So I had a rocket ship, and we lived in a ranch, so I wanted an elevator. I wasn't sure where it would go. But the great thing is that they let me do it. And they felt that letting me express my creativity was more important than the pristine nature of the walls. The brick walls that are in our way are there for a reason. They are not there to keep us out. They are there to give us a way to show how much we want it.
But what I kept coming back to when I had time by myself and no one was giving me advice was my dreams. The dreams I had put aside, the ones that I thought I had plenty of time to reach. But now that I realized I had a finite amount of time, I had to ask myself, what did I want to accomplish? I'm not a worst-case scenario guy, but if I really only had 5 years to live, what was it that I wanted to make sure happened? For me, as a comedian, it was a dream I had since I was 12 years old. It was to perform my comedy on The Late Show with David Letterman. So, let me be clear before I move on. I was a comedian already, okay? I was making a living at it. No day job, full-time comedian, making a good living in comedy clubs, colleges, corporate events around the world. That was a pretty big feat in itself. But 6 years into my comedy career, I kind of stopped chasing the Letterman dream. I was waiting for it to come to me. I was waiting for someday, not chasing it anymore. And that's a very important lesson for all of us mortals here today. Someday isn't on the calendar. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's on there about 4 times a month. No someday. But when it comes to our dreams, it's probably the busiest day of the week is someday, right? So learning that lesson, I just decided that I was going to refocus my attention back on that dream. I was going to pull out all the stops, and I gave myself a goal of getting on Letterman within 1 year. I was going to make someday happen. I started yelling my dream to anyone who would listen. Started calling in every favor I was owed. I found out everyone who worked on the show and begged them to help me get an audition. I even started asking people at comedy clubs after they'd seen me to email the show and beg Dave to book me. And guess what? I didn't make it. My ironically named deadline came and went. But I was so renewed about my dream and my newfound passion for it, I decided to give myself an extension. 1 more year to get on Letterman. Didn't happen. And then another. Nope. Sounds like bad news, right? Well, it was. I would have loved to get on the show in that first year, but something great happened over those years. Those 3 years weren't spent dying. They were spent living. Living a dream. And let me tell you, there is something, if you've ever chased a dream, you know that it lights a fire in your heart. That whether you reach it or not, it warms everyone around you and everything around you. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to keep going. Because that dream is so important. You can't wait for someday to happen. You need to make things go out. Wouldn't the world be a better place if we're all inspired? If the world wasn't full of uninspired people? I know I felt better when I was inspired. But why do people stop chasing their dreams? I don't think people choose to be uninspired. Why do you think people stop chasing their dreams? Everyone wants to achieve them. Why do people leave them behind? It was a tough question to answer. I wanted to give her an honest answer, not some cliche response or a motivational line. So I thought about it for a long time. I knew that cancer had motivated me to pick my dream up again, but why did I stop chasing it in the first place? Why does anyone stop? Well, when the answer came to me, it was hard to swallow, let alone spit out and say aloud, but I told her. We're all taught that life is tough. Life's a bitch. Life is hard. But it's not. It's pretty easy, right? It's pretty easy to skate by and go through life, right? We wake up every day, most of us in the world, with a roof over our heads, a big comfy bed under our butts, a fridge full of food. Most of us in the world, especially here in America, never have to worry about starvation or homelessness. We have friends and family that'll help us out when those things come. Those are the things that made life dangerous 100 years ago. Now we complain if life isn't convenient. This isn't a statement on modern society. This is a statement about motivation. Life is easy. It's easy to skate by. It's pretty easy to grow up, put your dreams aside, leave your passions behind, take a job that you don't even really mind, raise some kids who will most likely be inspired to do the exact same thing, go from point A to point B to point C until you end up at point Z, where you pass away and there's a line of people waiting to get up and tell everyone else who knew you what a good life you had. Nothing bad about that, nothing wrong with that, but nothing great about it, nothing inspiring about that. It's easy to look at a dream as something way off in the distance, something that might or might not be accomplished, a thing, an object, a goal, a thought that runs through our mind every now and then, a noun. But dream is also a verb. It has to be lived, it has to be done, it has to be furthered, it has to be acted upon, it needs to be chased. It's not just an idea or a result. To dream encompasses every step that it takes to get there. So I'm going to give you all a challenge here. Figure out the answer to that question. What are you dying to do? Don't skate forward any further in your life without answering that question. But if you don't know the answer, don't go to sleep tonight without answering that question. Don't wait till someday to answer that question. There's nothing more important in your life than figuring that out. When you do figure it out, then when you go to sleep, you sleep like a kid again. Because then you'll be going to sleep not to dream, but with a dream. And waking up with one. Thank you. I told you about my dream. I didn't reach my Letterman dream by my deadline. Or my extended deadline. Nope. It took me 5 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Steve Mazan.
5 years of living. Five years of living for that dream. And I was very lucky. My tumors during that time, they didn't grow. I stayed healthy. But I had that wake-up call, and I'm giving you all the same wake-up call. We're all dying. But if you're not chasing your dream, you're already dead.